Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. Readers of freedomsphoenix.com are constantly provided the information that detail the real news between the lines of propaganda about government policies and the true relationship we all have with coercive governments. Learn the true condition of our economy, innovations and technological breakthroughs in energy, health, computer science, and space travel. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media, the media that is so last century. Corporate media has evolved into nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but we now have a fantastic alternative. FreedomsPhoenix.com provides constant news updates on the issues that affect our lives in the most important ways. Our liberty and our property are under constant attack, and FreedomsPhoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda while encouraging the participation of our readers. Join us at FreedomsPhoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. FreedomsPhoenix.com, where the revolution between the ears has already matured.
Freedom's the answer. What's the question? You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence. Me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona. Just going over some of the stories here in Freedom's Phoenix. I'll just share some of them that pop out at me. I mean, here we go. Which one, where do you start? I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and start with Gerald. Well, what I want is just do some good stuff. Space travel and exploration. Now, I always keep tabs on that and see what's up. And we have a couple of things. One, they want to warn people saying, look, you start putting animals in, they have like different tests, with, I don't know, larvae of or whatever. And they're saying, attention astro parents, your space babies may be deformed. The Journal of Cosmology recently published a special issue concerning the requisites for and perils inherent in a manned mission to Mars, which appropriately touched upon the taboo topic that NASA never talks about, sex in space. And more apt, really, what they're talking about is procreation in space. What happens when you take life that is evolved here on the planet that is counts on certain magnetic fields, that you have gravity, you have all kinds of things, and you take them out of that environment, how do they develop? I have no idea, but I'm sure there's going to be research and we're going to find out. But I suspect that it won't be exactly the same. In fact, that's what astrology is based on. At least that's a claim by a lot of people. It's the alignment of the planets. What kind of gravitational forces are there at the time of your conception and your birth? Probably more likely your conception. But if you have all these different fields, all of these different planets in line with whatever, does it have an impact on how you develop in the womb? Probably. I mean, I don't know. We're going to find out. I would be more surprised if it didn't have any effect. A private space shuttle replacement, the Dream Chaser, will go into orbit on the nose of a rocket, then land gently on airport runways. This is being built right, not later. There's so much stuff going on. You think they just stopped the space shuttle? The Endeavour is going to be the last one. In fact, it was supposed to be piloted by Mark Kelly, which is a husband of the recently shot Gabrielle Giffords, the congresswoman in Tucson. Her husband is going to be the commander, supposed to be, a few months from now, the last shuttle mission. It's on the Endeavour. He's going to be commander. He's going to the International Space Station, where his twin brother is the commander of that. So this is there's all kinds of PR levels on this one. So we'll see what happens, but after Endeavour, there's something else. And then something else, and something else, and something else. And my question is, why would the private commercial space industry want to go to the International Space Station? What's there? Well, they're going to get paid to go and haul and this. Okay, fine. You want to hitch a ride on us and pay us for it? We're all over it. But they got bigger plans. They're going to space, something else. Then we have rocket plane. Now, rocket plane is like a Learjet that's been customized to be able to go into space and come down, but it takes off with jet engines of its own, and then the rocket engine hits in. Now, this is kind of what, as a young kid, most of us probably had in our mind. Heck, why don't you just put a rocket engine on a jet airplane and go up and come down? Heck, when you're at 40-something thousand feet, you're almost no air pressure. What's the difference? It's the reentry. It's the heat of the reentry. So they kind of harden some certain areas and put some heat ablative material or absorbing or tiles or whatever, and then they can come back that way. So the rocket plane, when we did our special show with the Rocketeer author on private space race, I showed a picture of it, but I didn't get to talk about rocket plane. And I'm not really sure if they're even still in business. We're going to check on that. But this one, oh yeah, here we go. Just a couple of days ago, I didn't get that. We had it on Freedom's Phoenix, but I didn't get to talk about it. Is Spaceship Two? This is one of the final glide tests that they did for the craft. Now it has. I'll just go ahead and read it. The private spaceflight company Virgin Galactic scored another successful drop test of its Spaceship Two suborbital spacecraft today. Now this was I think Monday. The latest in a series of smooth solo glides over the California desert for the commercial spaceship. Spaceship Two, designed and built by the Mojave-based company Scaled Composites, Burt Rutan, was released from its huge mothership a little after 8 a.m. local time today, January 13th. So that's when it was. And soared in glide mode back to Earth to a runway at the Mojave Air and Spaceport. The high-altitude flight did not reach space, but was the fourth in a series of demonstration flights ahead of an actual suborbital spaceflight test. Now, for those of you that have been listening to the show, there is a law that limits liability for the private development of space that is in effect until the end of 2012. That means you buy your ticket, you take your risks. That's just the way it is. Now, Richard Branson and his mother, and I think his brother, and some of his family and kids and that, they're going to space. Yep, we're first flight, man. We're taking. You better be testing it out because we're going. So, and if it blows up, will that have an impact? I'm sure it will, but it's not going to stop humanity going to space. It'll just be government wanting to come in with all kinds of regulations. And that's what I fear more than anything else is sabotage. I'll say it out loud. Sabotage. I fear sabotage because it supports control by somebody that doesn't want us free. Will they use this one to do it? It'd be a good one. So I'm certainly not predicting it or advocating it. It wouldn't surprise me. So be careful, guys. Now, this is going to be a big, even with limited, what's he going to do? Sue himself, especially when he's dead? I mean, so there's no liabilities and so on. They're saying, hey, man, you take your ticket, you take your risks. Well, that's what's going to happen. The reason we know that there's going to be, by the end of 2012, there will be more civilians will have gone to space than all other government astronauts combined. Throughout the history of man, in 1 year, there will be more civilians that have gone to space than ever have up to this point. Because government is not involved. It's going to be individuals. Now, by the end of 2012, will there be an industry? Probably. These tickets are already being sold. They're going like hotcakes. Done. They're filled up for foreseeable future to the point that they're building a fleet of these. You have the mothership, which is White Knight 2. And the reason they call it's white, of course, in the color. And it kind of looks like a knight because it has these little porthole circles instead of these larger windows because it's easier to pressurize and less stress on the frame and so on. So what they do is it kind of look like a knight in shining armor. So they call it White Knight 1 was one for Spaceship 1. White Knight 2 for Spaceship 2. Now they're building at least 2 or 3 of the White Knights to haul multiple, at least 2, 3, 4, 5, however many they can get away with, of Spaceship 2. And then as time goes on, they'll get more and more sophisticated on those. So this is happening now. And, I like sharing these things with you because it bypasses all of this other stuff. And that's just what's going on in the last few days. The last few days. Now, when we come back, we'll talk about some other things. I'll just show you some quick stuff here. Is that new type of entanglement allows teleportation in time. Now, what they're talking about, there's 2 different things. There was a teleportation of, oh man, I don't have enough time to explain it. Transporters. Star Trek. Transporters of DNA, material. You can even go and bypass space, time, different. If we can think it, it'll come. This is Ernest Hancock. I'm publisher of freedomsphoenix.com and the radio talk show host of Declare Your Independence. Now, I want to give you my personal endorsement of a wealthy U.S. citizen that is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He's produced a video for you. It's a real eye-opener, and I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to watch it. www.endofamerica, the numbers 1 and 7.com. endofamerica17.com. This video has the history of how we got where we are now and where we're going and why. Now, it's a lengthy video. It'll be about 20 minutes, but you need to watch this so you understand what's going to happen to this country and how you can protect your wealth and even benefit financially. Now, you go there. It's free. I want you to watch this video. You need to have this information so that you can survive the economic collapse that's coming to America. It's not if, it's when. That's endofamerica, the numbers 1 and 7.com. After you watch it, you'll understand why I endorse it.